So hello, everyone. Today is a big day again. Yes, we got a guest. So good morning, good afternoon, good evening to everyone around the world. You know, we're now global because we have people from everywhere in this world. And we want to hear from you too. So anyway, today we have a special guest, Theresa DeWit. She is amazing. As you can see, she's right there. And she is a seasoned international flight attendant. And you know what? 34 years. That's a long time. Just think about the expertise, right? My goodness, mind blowing.
I can serve Cokes like a boss.
And she'll tell you more. See, she's very excited. So I won't take long to introduce her right now. Theresa DeWit, welcome. How are you today?
Was that a question? I'm sorry.
Yes. How are you today?
Oh, how am I? Okay, I didn't catch that. I am terrific. Oh my goodness, it's such an honor to be here with you, Veiah. I'm just so excited to start talking about my mission and the things that I've going on, about the new book, my website, the course, everything I have going on. It's super exciting.
Yes, thank you. Of course, I'm excited to have you here as my guest. And I'm sure everyone is excited to hear about you too, right? Everyone.
Yeah,
I'm excited myself.
Throw some love in the comments.
There's so much more coming. So tell us, the world, not just us, but the world. What do you do? Who you are? Like a little bit about yours.
Well, I have a kind of a long background as a flight attendant, but that's not what I'm doing. I'm taking a completely different tack into a different area. My mission right now is to influence 1 million marriages positively to make a difference in the world. I've lived through some really crappy stuff, man. You name the bad things that could go wrong in a marriage, I lived through that. And in the process of trying to figure out how to have a good marriage, I managed to acquire a lot of information. And so I've taken that, I've kind of distilled it into some really great advice that I initially thought I was just going to give to my kids. And then I thought, wait, there's a lot more people that might want to hear about this.
Yes.
I created an online course and I have a book now, and with really great simple tips and strategies that a person can learn today, apply tonight, and start having a better relationship tomorrow.
Wow. There's so much to learn from there because you're right. A lot of marriages are needing this advice or just your experience, that whatever you have experienced, to be able to share it to those who might be in the same journey with you. And that's very helpful because nowadays marriage is a little bit a challenge, although it can be done. It's just a little bit more work than it used to be with all this things going on. So can you tell us a little bit about your book then? You haven't launched your book, right? Or have you launched?
I'm launching next week, or actually, depending on when you're listening to this, this book is going to be, let's see if I can get it in here. It's trying to blur
it's going to be difficult.
There we go.
There, there you go. That's
it's called Less Conflict, More Joy. And
Who wants joy? Who wants joy?
More joy.
Everyone.
More joy right here. Yes. Because that's what we all want in our relationships, right? We want less fighting and more happiness, less conflict and more joy.
Yes, true. Very, very true. Joy is not just being happy, it's more than happiness, because this joy is inside, inner, something happiness, but it's more deep. And we all need that to make this world better, because
Mhm.
with the COVID and so many things going on right now, we need more than, you know, joy, faith, and Teresa can tell us more, right, Teresa?
Absolutely. In the book, I go through. I take some really big concepts and I really kind of bring them down to simple to understand and apply principles and strategies. So I'm kind of basically giving a person some life hacks that you
Mm-hmm.
can, learn really quickly and start making a difference in your marriage right away. So, for instance, I start talking about with mindset. Like, you have to have this idea in your mind that you are going to be married a long time. You have to even
Yes.
imagine being married like 50 years and wrinkly lips and wrinkly
Mm.
skin and soft hands and the things that it'll be like when you've been married a long time, especially if you have been a child of divorce. Pardon me. For me,
Mm-hmm.
I my family, between my mother and my father, that there were four different divorces. And my father married three times and or was married three times and divorced three times. So I never saw the longevity. I never really saw that marriage was a permanent thing. And I realized that you have to have a mindset of saying, and envisioning your marriage going a long time down the
Mm-hmm.
road, to kind of get rid of some of the negativity that you may have grown up with if you are a child of divorce.
Yes. So it's time to break that chain and
Exactly.
have more joy, right?
Yes. Yes,
I like
ma'am.
that. Yes, I
And
like
then
that.
I talk a lot about joy. I talk a lot about, like, how do you find joy? How do you rekindle joy in your marriage? And honestly, I'm going to give you one big tip. Intimacy, joy, contentment, it starts with your smile.
Yes.
Like when you first started dating, what was the thing, the first connection you had with that person?
Mm-hmm.
You showed that connection through your smile, through
Yes.
those conversations that you had, through spending time together, being silly, playful,
Mm-hmm.
spontaneous,
Yeah.
having fun. And
Yes.
in our marriages, we tend to kind of stop doing those things and we just start doing the do. We got to
Mm-hmm.
do the laundry and we got to make the dinner and we got to take care of the kids and we got to run the kids to the doctor and whatever we have to do. We go to work, we come home, and we wash and repeat. But the problem is that if we don't intentionally bring a countenance of joy, a smile
Mm-hmm.
into our relationship, we can kind of sink down to just being roommates. And the way
Yes.
you break that cycle is by just bringing your smile back,
Right.
showing your partner that you actually
Right.
enjoy spending time with them.
Uh-huh.
So like, you say in the morning before you leave for work, give him a hug and a smile and say, I love you. Have an awesome day. And
Mm-hmm.
wish him well. Pray for him. Pray
Yes.
for him
Yes.
to have that he has a good day. Keep him
Mm-hmm.
in your prayers, because your relationship with him, you want him to succeed because your
Right.
relationship with him will be easier when it does.
Mm-hmm.
So pray that God blesses his day. Pray that God makes a difference in his life.
Yeah, it's actually, while you were talking, I just thought about uh, one really simple way is to just go back on the very first few times you dated, where what is it that, made you go on a date with this person?
Mm-hmm.
Why? Asking those little questions. Wait a minute, what happened then? Because when you started something and then you end up going together, then you realize that something was there that attracted you, right? So you just
Absolutely.
go back
Absolutely.
there and think about what is it? Why did you end up with this person? And then build on that again. It's like starting all over,
Mm-hmm.
but just a reminder that what attracted you most, or what is the reason why you had a relationship with this person, then it will rekindle everything. and then
Right.
you
Right.
you can, oh yeah, that I remember that smile. So then you yourself will feel that, oh, that's why I love this guy, because of that smile. So there you go. It's just as easy as that. And like Teresa was saying about just doing, after a while, oh, I have to take the kids to this and that. You have to take the time, even for just a minute, to think back and go back to that special moment, because that's where it started, right? So
Exactly.
when you
Right.
go back, then it's going to start all over again, and it will rekindle everything. That was really good, Teresa.
Thank you. It's true, and it's something that's easy to apply. You just
Uh-huh.
remember that when, hang on, let me get a drink. Sorry. Mm. That when when we are connecting with our partner, that
Mm-hmm.
smile does make a difference. It's important too to be playful. When I'm
Yes.
when I'm coaching with girls, when I'm, when they're really struggling with their marriage, I give them some great techniques on how to be playful again.
Yes.
In my book I talk about that. In my online
Mm-hmm.
course I do the same thing, where I give you great ideas, like for instance, you got to laugh. You have to be playful. You need to have those moments of kind of, it can't be always a sober moment and everything is just doing all those things, right? It has not just smiling, but actually being silly a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes when my husband is in the bedroom watching TV and I'm always in my office doing something. That's the trouble being an entrepreneur. It's never all done. So I'll come in after, he might be watching some TV and I'll run in the bed. I'll swing open the door, run into the bedroom and launch myself onto the bed and like laughing the whole time. I mean, it just, sometimes you just have to intentionally do something totally silly and out of the normal. Maybe you're in the kitchen and you splash water on him or something, maybe if you can't think of something that's funny and something that's going to cause you to laugh, open TikTok up and
Uh-huh.
watch dog videos. Just sit
And you
and
know what?
giggle.
While you were saying that, those are actually moments that will be flashbacks to the mind, that,
That's
wait
right.
a minute, oh yeah, I remember that time. And sometimes it might be annoying to some at that moment, but I tell you what, it will, once they go back to that moment, it just comes to our mind. I sometimes do that, like, oh yeah, that, I was annoyed, but yeah, I mean, something out of ordinary,
That's
like,
right.
it's
That's
something,
right.
oh wow, it'll wake you up, like, oh yeah, she
Mhm.
did that, and get your reaction. So that's actually good. I don't know, but for me, I kind of feel like, yeah, I like the idea to, have fun, just because, to wake, steer things up, like
That's right.
something different.
Yeah, that, and it's important to spend time together, date nights, and even a lot. I remember when I was younger, it was so hard to like prioritize date nights because how do I afford that? But let's
Hmm.
get creative. Do you have another friend with young kids and you can trade babysitting?
Hmm.
What can you do that's out of the normal? Let's say you're a person that eats out a lot. Maybe your date night is you find a fun recipe and you get all the ingredients and you sit and you cook it together at home.
Right. Uh-huh.
Or maybe just the opposite. Maybe you always cook at home and you have been wanting to go to this one great restaurant and you just like, okay, let's go there. Let's just, instead of buying two appetizers and two entrees and two desserts, maybe you just buy one appetizer, one entree, and one dessert, and you share everything. Okay, you're
Right.
not totally full at the end of the meal, but you got
Hmm.
a chance to experience that restaurant, but you're not paying, an exorbitant price for that, for both of you to have a meal. But you can
Yeah,
do that.
and
Why
you
not?
get to, yeah, and you get to spend time together as
That's
well,
right. That's right. Yeah.
because that's the most important thing right there, to spend time with your loved one. It doesn't have to be fancy, but just the time together is really the best part
It
of it.
is. It's really
So
important. It is important to,
it's
prioritize your relationship. Because
What?
otherwise you'll find yourself after 5, 10 years and you're like, who's this roommate I'm living with? Why isn't it any fun? And when you start feeling like that, that's where my coaching comes in. That's where
Mhm.
we sit down and we start looking, taking a deep dive into your relationship. And we talk about, what is it? What's the main 2, 3 things that you're really struggling with? And now over the next few weeks, let's work on fixing those. Let's work on giving you some skills and some strategies, some life hacks to turn those things around. And it happens
Yes.
really quickly. Can I tell you a little
Uh-huh.
story?
Yeah, sure,
So
sure.
my husband and I now have been married for 14 years, and we were
Mhm.
living in this little tiny house, like 850 square feet, tiny little house. And at the time, I had 2 different home-based businesses, and so when I wasn't flying, I was working my home-based business. So he would come home from work, and I would literally, because I didn't have an office in that house, it was too small, just 2 little bedrooms. I would literally have my desk was in the living room, and then I would be sprawled because one of my businesses was selling accessories. So I always would have product everywhere as pricing, dealing with boxes,
Mhm.
inventory, bringing things in and out. And so I would literally, the living room would be completely full of all my stuff. And I knew
Yes.
that always kind of rattled my husband, but he would get home early sometimes because he's a plumber. So he works early, like from 7 a.m. to like 3. And boy, about 1 o'clock is about when I start really getting rolling in a day, So
Mhm.
I would know, oh, he's coming home. And what if he comes home at 2 and I still have stuff all over the living room? Because I try to kind of clean it all up, at least put it out of the way. But what was happening is that he would walk through the door and I would literally be so focused on getting all my stuff done that I wasn't paying any attention to him.
Oh.
And I was thinking I was trying to make him happier by cleaning up my mess. But what I wasn't doing is acknowledging his love language of needing to be appreciated for the work that he's doing.
Mhm.
And so I had to learn that I need to stop what I'm doing, no matter if there's a big mess or anything, look at him and just greet him with, again, that smile, like that intention, setting an intention of having a really great evening together. And it is amazing how quickly that started
Mhm.
turning our marriage around, where I would stop what I was doing and I would ask him the questions. I think with our kids or with our husbands, or anybody in our life, after an event happens, you have about a 15 to 30-minute window to get the details of that event. Don't ask them about something that happened a week ago. They won't give you any details. But if, like, when your husband or your comes home from work or your kids get home from school, you have that 15-minute window before they get off distracted with other things to find out about their day and to ask questions and to listen. And
Mhm.
they'll have things to say at that time. But if you wait too long till dinner time to talk about it, nothing will be there any longer. So stopping what you're doing and really using that time, just that short period of time after they get home, to really connect with them, that can really be
Mhm.
a revitalizing thing in your marriage.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's and also it's quick because you only have that short window of time, right? So and it's productive because short and quick and you connect. What more could you ask? And then
Exactly.
you get to do more things and
Right.
finish whatever you want to finish. So that's a really good tip, Teresa. So now that you reinvented yourself, what would you consider as um for moms who are struggling? How would, give me, like, maybe you can share 2 or 3 tips that could help them get started to rekindle relationship and have a productive life and accomplish wife, things
Well,
like.
we already kind of talked. We covered talking
Yes.
about, greeting and smiling at your person, doing some date nights,
Hmm.
prioritizing that person and your relationship with them, and having a conversation. One thing we didn't really talk about, and that I really go into depth in my online course and in the book, is I talk about the love languages. I got permission
Oh,
from the publisher of the 5 love languages to teach and include their information in my products. So
wow.
I talk in depth about love languages and understanding your husband's or your partner's or even your kids' love language, and then learning to love them in their love language. And in addition, learning to ask them to love you in yours. So let
Mm-hmm.
me give you an example. One of my big love languages is acts of service. That's when I tend to do things for, I do this, I do that, I do this, and all I need to make me feel good about it is actually if somebody says thank you. If they show me a little appreciation, I'm golden. My husband, on the other hand, it's not really acts of service guy. So he is more quality time. So that
Mm-hmm.
having those conversations. So what I found is that for him, when I listen after work and listen to what he's doing, and I put away, our phones can be such a distraction in our marriage. I get home and it goes down on the table, ignoring the notifications on my wristwatch,
Mm-hmm.
um, and just spending some time with him. And that's how I can love him in his love language of quality time. There's 5 different love languages. Let's see if I can get them all. So it's acts of service, it's quality time, it's physical touch with most men. That's a big part of their love language, how they're set up. Another thing is, well, anyway, let me just keep on going with the story there. So I found that I can get my love language, my need of acts of service met, and he can get his need of quality time met if we cook together.
Oh,
Because he helps me do my do,
uh-huh.
okay? And during the doing, we talk.
Right, right.
So,
Oh, yeah, that's
so
perfect.
if somebody let's say your spouse is an acts of service guy, you'll know that because they're the first person to take out the trash, they run the laundry, they weed, they mow the yard, whatever. If that's your man, if he does the grocery shopping, if those are the things that he tends to do, then he's an acts of service lover. One of the things you can do to show him love is to do those things with him. If
Uh-huh.
he says, oh, it's hey, it's garbage tomorrow, let's get the trash, or I'm going to get the trash out, hop out of your seat and go help him with the trash. Do it with him and you'll show him, and then when he's done, all you have to do is say, thanks so much, baby, I'm so glad you remembered that, you're always on top of it, I really appreciate you.
Yes,
That's all he
yes.
needs to hear if that's acts of service. Now let's say your man is really wired in physical touch. A lot of men,
Mhm.
that's one of their big love languages, because sex is really important to men. But
Mhm.
listen, you don't want to have sex every day with a guy, but you can still touch him.
Right.
And one of the things when I am coaching with my girls is I remind them every single day, you need to do a 10-second hug with your man. Not a,
Mm.
not a, bye, bye, not that. Okay. It's like you grab him, you put your head on his chest. If he's a tall guy, my husband's 6'5", so I put my head on his chest. I can hear his heart beating, or you can do that in bed. You could just,
Mhm.
before you guys go to bed, just cuddle a little bit, hug him, lay there. You feel that sense of like bond that you have together. I'm
Yeah.
not saying have sex. I'm
Right.
saying just touch the guy. Let
Mhm.
him know that you still appreciate him physically.
Mhm.
Right?
Yeah.
That's important. So that hug is really important. Let's say he's sitting down and I don't know, whatever he's doing. Like sometimes my husband, we have a bar in our kitchen and he'll just sit there and he'd be looking at his phone or something. Well, I'm cooking dinner again.
Mhm.
I'm doing the do. And if I just go up to him and give him a little, 1 or 2 minute massage on his back, he just is like, baby, he will actually say to me without even thinking about it, wow, that just makes me feel so loved. you
Oh.
know so those are expressions, those are physically touching expressions without sex.
Mm. Yeah.
That hug, massages, take a shower with the guy. If you
Mm.
can do it, get in the shower together, your partners, you're married.
Yeah.
Don't worry about it. My husband and I have a joke. We have like, if you get fatter, oh, well, he said to me one time, if you get fat, I'll get fatter. Okay. Listen, I'm 58 years old, so I'm definitely getting a little thick around the middle. So, he's, so I get in the shower with him. I have one of those loofah, scrubby balls, whatever, fluff balls, and I'll put some soap on there, and I'll scrub his back, I'll scrub his arms, and if it leads to something, maybe it does, maybe it doesn't, but
Yeah.
the fact is that it's, again, I'm touching him. Sex doesn't necessarily have to be a part of that.
Right.
I'm showing
Exactly.
him I love him through my touch.
Yeah, exactly. That's very true. I mean, simple things. That goes a
Exactly.
long way.
Lots of things that you could do today, apply tonight, and have a better marriage tomorrow.
Yes, yes, yes. And that's really that's exactly what we want to see in this world, to have marriages last longer, because not only good for the excuse me, for the couple, but it's also good for the world, especially for the children,
Oh, no kidding,
who
right?
sees the parents, what happened, like they get to question what's happening with my parents. And once they see something's going on, then they feel insecure, they feel the fear, they feel there's so much things going on in their mind at such young age, let's say. And it's not gonna help them, see better world if they see the negative first. So as
Exactly.
parents, or not just parents, anybody who is going into a relationship, it's a good idea to really work every day to make the relationship stay longer as much as you can, because the kids, the next generation is looking at you.
They are. They absolutely
Right.
are. And there's a lot of people that are well intentioned with advice on, like, Instagram or YouTube or TikTok. There's a lot of people, a lot of talking heads out there, and there's a lot of people with advice. But honestly, there isn't a lot of good advice out there. There's a lot of advice that says, if you don't like him, just leave. You're a queen and you've got this, and he doesn't need you, you don't need him. But divorce hurts. Divorce sucks. Divorce
Yeah.
is expensive. And if I can help couples have a quality, like, better relationship and help them avoid divorce, that's what I want to do. That's my mission. That's what that's the
That's a
whole thing
good
I'm trying
mission.
to do.
That's a
That's
great
right.
mission.
With
Yes.
my book and YouTube and course and everything that I have going on, the coaching, that's what I'm trying to do, is influence women, give them some easy things to do, things that our grandmas used to do. Here, let me throw in one more big piece of advice. All right, so you're having a fight with your husband. We all have days like that. We all have problems and issues that arise, and there may be some things. Actually, let me give you two pieces of advice if you're listening today. Number one, don't say what you think when you're angry. Right?
Best advice.
Don't let those words slip off your tongue, because
Yeah.
you will regret them. You may regret them later, and you can't take them back.
Right.
The second thing is, if you're in an argument with your spouse, I tell the girls in my coaching program, listen, do not, if somebody wore a corsage or carried a flower at your wedding, do not call them when you're having an argument. Just don't do it. Don't call them, don't text them, don't tell them.
Right.
Because you and your husband will sort it out. You guys will eventually, you love each other. You're going to, things come up, you get frustrated for a minute, you just want to tell somebody and tell the world, do not post on social media. Do not call your sister or your mom or your best girlfriend about what's going on in your relationship. Now, I will say one aside. If he is hurting you, you need to get out, get safe, and get help. Okay? If he's hurting you, listen, my first husband, black and blue, broke my eardrum. I was covered in bruises so many times I can't even tell you. I should have gotten out. I should have gotten help, and I should have gotten safe, but I didn't. So I will tell you that, but if it's just a common argument, like, he didn't fill up the gas tank and you ran out of gas, and somehow it's his fault that your gas tank was empty and you're in an argument about it, some stupid thing like that. Listen, do not call the people in your life that know him well, because what's going to happen is then they will start to they're going to take your side because they're your friends.
You're the one who called them.
Yes.
The first person they hear, then they're on your side. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And then what happens is you and your husband will make up, but they won't ever make up with your husband, and they'll start harboring little resentments and little angers, and they will feel protective of you and harbor resentment against him. And then dinners will be awkward, family gatherings will be awkward, stuff will be awkward in the future, and you're basically hammering nails into the coffin of your marriage every time you do that. Do not post on social media if you're having a fight with your boyfriend or your husband. Don't do it. Just don't do it. If you need to if you really need to talk to somebody that's not related, an old girlfriend from high school, go to some group on Facebook,
or a professional,
or women,
professional.
Mothers or something. Don't talk out loud with people that love your husband too. Okay, just don't do it.
I think the best solution for that is to sort it out with your husband.
Yeah, exactly.
That only takes communicating. You can share what you feel, and he can share what he feels, and then you talk about it, because that's pretty much what happens, right? Disagreement, or he has a different opinion and you have another opinion. So what more could you do is to communicate so you can clear it up. So that's the best way to do it. And even in different relationship, even in different ways, even in business, or even in just making friends, the only way to really connect with someone is to communicate properly.
Right.
With kindness, with good intention.
Exactly.
And every time you communicate with love, with good intention, I'm sure everything will be fine. Because you're not hurting anybody. You have good intention in the first place, right?
That's right. Right. And one other thing that I talk about in the book too is the difference. Do you guys, anybody out there remember the story from the Johnny Depp and the Amber Heard trial? Something I came up with a long time ago is that I think there's sometimes there's two players in an argument. There's one tends to be a runner and one tends to be a chaser. Okay. So they're having an argument. The runner says, I'm out of here. I don't want to talk about it. Okay. And the chaser says, I'm not done. We got to get this done. Okay. That can present itself in different ways.
Yeah.
The runner is going to say, I don't want to talk about it. But the chaser can not let it go. The person leaves and goes to another room, and the chaser's like, it follows him into the other room and chases him around the apartment, or chases around the house. Or if let's say you're not in the same place, the runner says, let's talk about this tomorrow. I don't want to talk about it right now. And the chaser will blow up your phone. The chaser will text 100 messages to 0 responses, 100 over here and 0 responses here. So think of who you are in a relationship. Now, and before your next argument or next issue with your partner, talk about how, if you are a runner and a chaser, if the two of you have that kind of thing, that kind of tension going on in your marriage or your relationship, talk about how you're going to handle it. The chaser needs to understand that the runner needs a few minutes to sort things out in their head. What happens is that as the runner calms down, the chaser can sometimes get more angry. So as a runner, you need to make those few minutes, you need to make that time fairly short. You can't say, I'll talk to you about it in a week. You can't give them the silent treatment for the next 2 days. That is not going to help your chaser partner feel confident in your relationship. It's just going to make them angrier and angrier. Okay. So
you're going to meet somewhere in the middle.
You have to come to agreement. Like, listen, give me 30 minutes. I need 30 minutes to sort this
Mhm.
out so I don't say the wrong things during our argument. And the chaser needs to say, okay, I'm setting a timer. And then the runner can say, and you can set some boundaries that are healthy. Listen, do not call names. I don't, no, do not raise your voice. I'm happy to talk about it, but I don't want to talk about it in a volatile environment. And the chaser needs to agree to those boundaries. And those are things you need to sort out before the next argument. Okay, if you tend to have that kind of a thing in your relationship, you need to kind of come up with some solutions ahead of time so you can try to put those into play the next time there's a conflict in your marriage.
Yeah. And also it's like learning it's like learning each other, because
Mm-hmm.
once you have that, learn from it instead of like trying to focus on how to solve the problem. Learn,
Mm-hmm.
okay, this person, like, okay, my husband doesn't like this. Maybe I should change my ways of talking to him. You know, it's
Exactly. Good.
it's not a
Yes.
bad idea to learn about you, how to attack a problem. So it's actually good for you because then you know how to better communicate, right? And the same thing, both of you, I mean all of us, it's a good idea to learn from a situation and be better next time we face that same situation. Now then we know what to do and it's less chaotic.
Right. Exactly. Exactly.
So, okay, so last question for you, Teresa. How do people connect with you since you have already given so much? Oh my gosh, you have so much idea how to help anyone who is going through this journey, and how do people connect with you?
Well, there's a few different ways that you can do that. I have a website. It's joyfullymarried.com. So just
Okay.
all run together, joyfullymarried.com. And that's how you can get into learning more about the online course and also the coaching. We and you know what I'm going to do today? Veiah, if you don't mind, I would love to offer an opportunity for the listeners today to get a free copy of the book. And
Mm-hmm.
the way you can do that today is if you email me at hello@joyfullymarried.com. Just send me a quick email at hello@joyfullymarried,
I will
joyfullymarried.com.
I will send me the email me the
I will.
just to make sure I have the right
Yes.
address, and I will add that to the
And I'll send you
description once.
PDF of the book, so you'll have that
Okay.
available.
Yes.
If you'd like to get involved in the coaching, that's just you can also email me again at hello@joyfullymarried.com, and I can set you up with a free 30-minute marriage tune-up where
Mhm.
we're gonna dig into your marriage and find out what are the top 2 or 3 things that are going on, and I'm gonna give you some quick things that you can do today. You can learn them today, you can apply them tonight, and start having that better marriage tomorrow. And then
Yes.
beyond that 30-minute tune-up call, if there's a fit for coaching, it's something you'd like to enter into, we can talk about that at that time as well.
Amazing.
Again, the book is
Amazing.
launching on Amazon Kindle on July 20th. The paperback
Yes.
version will be launching on the 27th. And I'm super excited to, be able to help as many people as I can. If there's something here that's really meant a lot to you, throw me an email. I'd love to hear from you if there's any way that I can help. And also, please share this video. If you found that this is great information and you know another friend who's maybe struggling in their marriage, just the tips you've heard just today will make a difference
Yes.
in marriage.
Yes. If you like the video, like us, subscribe, because I'm sure there's someone out there who got a good tip today. So keep smiling, everyone, and be kind to everyone. Bye for now,
Bye.
and we'll see you with our next guest. Thank you.